Gotta watch where I step, 500 my kick. Got 2 dicks and they both in my jeans. They stay hollering but won't last on my feet. Out the mud we rose, got a stain on my teeth. I'm good anywhere, my face too clean. Need a bone on face, I'ma call JP. Get my neck on ice and the wall of my teeth. My heart too cold, need to match my peace. Gotta watch where I step, 500 my kick. Got 2 dicks and they both in my jeans. They stay hollering but won't last on my feet. Out the mud we rose, got a stain on my teeth. I'm good anywhere, my face too clean. Need a bone on face, I'ma call JP. These motherfuckers thought I was stopping. I took a solid break and I ain't coming back to go fuck. Show these niggas I ain't playing no more. Dropping hits, little nigga, I ain't playing no more. Had a dream I had money, but I still kick those. I'd rather kick the hoe than kick my coat. I'm sipping on drink, not more. I'm chewing on perks, ain't noticed. Eating good pocket, a blue star engine, make no sound. Came a long way, can't wait till I get crowned. Potato on the barrel, let's sound more round. Let that bit go, then we come back round. Peace in my pocket, I got my life. Keep a dick on me, nigga, now flash my price. I'm breaking these bins, gotta afford my vice. Nigga ain't shit free, gotta pay my price. I don't deal with them no more, cause I come around. I can even lie sometimes, wanna put them on the ground. Put them on the ground. Gotta watch where I step, 500 my kick. Got 2 dicks and they both in my jeans. They stay hollering but won't last on my feet. Out the mud we rose, got a stain on my teeth. I'm good anywhere, my face too clean. Need a bone on face, I'ma call JP. Get my neck on ice and the wall of my teeth. My heart too cold, need to match my peace. Gotta watch where I step, 500 my kick. Got 2 dicks and they both in my jeans. They stay hollering but won't last on my feet. Out the mud we rose, got a stain on my teeth. I'm good anywhere, my face too clean. Need a bone on face, I'ma call JP. Get my neck on ice and the wall of my teeth. My heart too cold, need to match my peace.
How many subscribers do you have?
Not many, I've only just started. 30, I think. I'm not big. I'm not big.
Young niggas still working, getting to the paper. Young niggas still dolo, don't got time for favors. Mama telling me, little boy, better keep your head up. I keep a strap below the waist, I can wait up. Gotta watch out for these people, they manipulate us. Gotta watch out for these crackers, steady trying to change us. I'm steady having dreams, but a nigga famous. How the foul don't play, but they tryna play us. I swear we gon' win on me, oh yeah. When I slide 2 clips on me, oh yeah. Little folk caught lacking how it sound, no way. Me and my bitch made a movie, oh yeah. Perkins and Somali all inside a nigga box. By the minute been clean, I was moving like a zombie. Want a Benzo and a Audi, I don't want a Maserati. I remember back then shooting up these niggas' parties. And I still keep that banger on me, oh yeah.
Okay. So I've got 33 days to my selection. It's the 24th of January today. My selection is on the 26th of February in Lichfield. It's usually like a couple of days, I think it's a day or two. You've got to stay overnight. Sorry, 2 or 3 days, you've got to stay overnight. Obviously with COVID and all going on at the moment, it's only going to be like a few hours. I'll be up there probably like 6 to 8 hours. They're not doing a 2k run anymore either. They're doing a bleep test, which would be interesting. And then obviously just a medicine ball throw along with a mid-flight pull. In terms of the actual fitness standards, they're not, it's nothing defeating. Like I'd say most relatively fit people would be able to pass the fitness standards required to get in. Obviously my fitness at the moment, it's going decent, my training at the moment. I wouldn't say it's going great. Like I've had days where I've trained 4 days in a week. Just down to overall laziness, where I should have trained 5, but I've just done something else instead, like gone fishing with the boys or something.
My name's Jack Queen, you know what I mean?
There's good music over here anyway.
Oh, it's not really going. Oh.
Starting to rain again. It is raining, but look at the fucking water, bro.
It's not raining. Are you dumb?
Yesterday, for example, I went fishing when I should have trained. Called in my rest day, but then realised at the end of the week, like, I've only trained 4 days this week, which just isn't on really at all. But I know now I need to up the ante. I need to up the volume and the frequency. With my training now, I'm going to be training 6 days a week. I've got a month basically, so I'm going to do 3 weeks, 6 days of training. And then the week before my selection, I think I'm going to train 3 days, maybe 4 days, just to ease back down so I'm fresh, ready for selection. And then obviously that gap between my the selection and the start date, which shouldn't be long, it depends on the regiment I join, which is what I want to speak about today as well. Could be going in on the 28th of February, obviously just 2 days after my selection, or I could be going in on the 7th of March, depending on the regiment that I decide to join, which is what I want to speak about today. I'm between two job roles, which I'm going to talk about. But the last couple of weeks have been the longest couple of weeks of my life, to be honest. I've been given this by the army in the meantime. That's going to be backwards, isn't it? It's going to be backwards. Things to do, but first one on there: ring your GP surgery in 4 days and find out if they've received the primary healthcare records request form. I had an absolute nightmare with that. I was back and forth with the doctors, with the army. So basically I filled in the primary healthcare records request form, sent it off to the army. They said they sent it to the doctors. I rang the doctors, they were constantly saying they never received it. So the forms just got lost. The army sent them to the GP and the GP were just constantly saying they never received them. So what they did then, they just sent me the same forms copied. Rather than the army sending them to the GP, they just sent them directly to myself. And I dropped them directly into the GP, just to cut out that middle postal part, which was just absolute crap because obviously they got lost. So that was a nightmare. I was getting pretty worried about the medical as well. Obviously that primary healthcare records request form is just like all your previous medical records done with the doctors, so the army can look at you and just establish whether you're fit and healthy or not to join and to be invited into the selection process. But I was worried because I broke this arm, my left arm, like 3 or 4 times. I've got metal plates in there for life. And then also after having the metal plates, I then went and broke my arm then again. In the military college, which is actually quite a funny story. Basically, I was training for the bleep test, running back and forth in like a sports hall, going back and forth. I ran to the wall, jumped up, put my foot on the wall, pushed off, and as I turned around, I slung my arm and smashed my mate in the side of the head and literally broke my arm off his head. That's how I broke my arm. I literally turned and walloped the kid. It was completely accidental, obviously. I carried on running for like another 30 seconds, but literally I couldn't run. Like my arm was in, it was throbbing. I went over, walked to the corner, stopped, sat down, and then my staffs were like, "Oh, Draper, you keep running. Why have you stopped? You've hit him in the head. Why have you stopped?" And I was like, "Yo, I literally think I've broke my arm." Like, but it didn't look broke. But like the reason why it didn't look broke is because obviously I've got the plates in there already. The plates are already in my arm the previous 2 times I broke it. But yeah, anyway, went to the hospital, had an X-ray. It was broke. Stuck her in a cast, 6 weeks, something like that. But that was the main reason why I was worrying about the medical. I didn't know where I stood with the metal plates. Other than that, there wasn't really anything else I was worried about. The only other thing I had was I had plastic surgery on my hand when I was young, when I was like 8, 9, because I climbed over a fence to go and play football in a court that was closed off. So I climbed the gate, and obviously I slipped when I climbed the gate, and the spike like ripped my hand open, and I could see all the insides, all the bone, all the tissue. It was disgusting. And I just picked up my ball. I don't know why I picked up my ball and ran home. But yeah, that's about me being an idiot, and more on to the topic of the video. I'm between 2 job roles at the moment, as I said earlier. So the 2 job roles I'm between joining at the moment are the Royal Artillery, to do unmanned aerial systems. I just love the idea of flying drones and spying on the enemy with drones and doing that sort of thing. Sounds really cool. But on the other hand, I would love to join the Royal Irish. They're an infantry regiment, which essentially means just being on the fields in combat. Some days I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in the artillery, and then other days I'm like, no, I do think I want to go in the Royal Irish. Like half my family are Irish. I go over to Ireland multiple times a year, every year. Obviously not at the moment with what's going on right now. I think right now I'm leaning more towards the Royal Irish Rangers. I just think if I join an infantry-based regiment, then I know I'm going to be really active in terms of fitness and combat, and I'm going to love that sort of thing. I just hope when it comes to selection I'm not as indecisive as I am now, and I know what I want to do. Because right now, it's a sticky one. It is a sticky one. I like both, so But yeah, that's it for today, short and sweet. Drop a like on the video, comment anything you want down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, I'll be greatly appreciated. Follow me on Instagram, RyanDrippin99. And yeah, nice one.